All right, friends, it's 3:21 in the morning for reasons I don't fully understand, and we're gonna go for a run and talk about fatherhood and life, and it's gonna be awful. We got 6 miles today. It's like 20 degrees and there's some snow on the ground. So let me pop you up my head and we'll get to work. See you at mile 1. Also, it's dark today, which means you're gonna get like just glimmer of street lights once in a while because we're running a savanna. So it should be nice and chill for you. Chilly for me. All the complaints. 3, 2, 1, go.
Begin workout.
So hey, Pretentious Engineer here. I know you didn't ask, but welcome to Sunday Sips, where I curate my latest ideas on engineering, global leadership, entrepreneurship, fitness, and fatherhood. I'm a busy guy with 4 kids, so I do my pod on the run, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you more as we get into this thing. We'll basically have some deep thoughts every mile, and then a speed run because y'all are too busy to watch me run for an hour and 30 minutes. So let's get to it. Awesome. Hey friend, I don't know how well you can see me because everything's a little light. It's freaking cold. I knew I was running that one quick, but for some reason I was hoping it was like way quicker, like 10 minutes for that mile. Because when it was 11:40 something, I was like, ah, shit. This is just how long it takes to run. I used to have this really cool trail in Tokyo that I'd run along like multiple rivers. You got the nice Tokyo vibes. And now I got this great big open plains, which are beautiful and reflective. I should be grateful. But it all kind of looks the same. So it's so difficult to perceive that we're making progress. And I think it's a good way to kick off our open reflection today on entrepreneurship and what I would call finding the path. We all naturally wander in our lives, and eventually if you're trying to build a product that provides value to people, the quicker you can find a path between what you're making and who you're serving, like the quicker it can become quote unquote a successful venture. And I think defining success is also incredibly challenging because we have so many different metrics to do so. And a lot of folks are afraid to wander because wandering means getting lost in the woods. It means quote unquote wasting time. And for me, I look at it all as gain. As we wander, as we make mistakes, as we dabble outside our comfort zone, we become rich in learnings and application. And it allows us to solve bigger, harder, world-shaping problems downstream because we took the extra time to explore our problem space. So, as a tangent or adjacent to that, we're going to walk through this idea of having a relationship with confidence as an entrepreneur. And the reason I use the language having a relationship with confidence is that I don't believe it's about having more confidence. Because confidence, well, it's a wiggly little guy. So we'll talk about that a mile too, and some of the risks when you over-embrace confidence. All right, get on my head. Let's get to work. All right. Well, friends, we're moving pretty fast. 11 minutes and 30 something seconds. That's quick. Now I have a love-hate relationship with snow. Like, I'm an Iceman. I take cold showers. Doesn't mean it's fun, nor does it mean that I enjoy it. But sometimes you just gotta do hard crap. And one of the love hates I have right now on this run, close to a hate, we have maybe like a squishy half-inch of snow, so it's super low impact. So my knees are dancing, they're very happy today. But it's slippy, so I'm not worried that much about falling. I fell before. Black ice ain't nothing but a thing. But the problem with slippy snow is like, I'm breathing. Whew. It's, you feel like you have less momentum. Like each step is less productive than you desire. You know, you want to maximize the distance and progress towards finishing, and there's a natural process that occurs with running on snow. And with entrepreneurship, I think it's the same. Everyone wants to go fast. For me, I had a lot of motivation to create revenue when I was in Japan, because we had an incredibly high burn rate. We pulled like a 75K personal loan to keep our kids in international school. And expat expenses are outlandishly high. And the yen was really low. We had a lot of US-based liabilities, like student debt and crap. So I had a lot of motivation to build a business that was profitable quickly. Just like any startup. But what this gets to, okay, is when you're trying to move quick, trying to gain traction, a lot of times you have to emote a persona of confidence. Because if you come into conversations with certain folks while you're networking or talking with prospective clients, nobody wants to work with somebody who's terrified out of their mind. Well, maybe. I think like there's definitely to be something to be said for being real and authentic, and balancing that with a sense of confidence. But what I didn't know in Tokyo, when I started my venture, when I started recording these runs, these podcasts, 11 episodes ago, because I just started releasing them, so I've been rewatching where my headspace was at 7 months ago. What I didn't know is that there's a lot of intrinsic flaws with my initial business model, yet I was still emoting what looked like confidence. And there's another word called hubris, which isn't super common in the English vernacular. But hubris and confidence share a common root. I like to think about it like a teeter-totter. And for all you non-US native English speakers who might not have teeter-totters, I don't know what you call it in your country of origin. Teeter-totter is just like a wooden board on a fulcrum so it can pivot, and kids sit on it. One kid gets lifted up to the sky, the other kid comes down to the dirt and then jumps, and they switch. You can think about confidence and hubris as two different sides of that teeter-totter. And what tethers them together, that fulcrum, is a sense that you're right. Actually, another word you could swap with hubris a little bit is pretentious, which is funny because I'm a pretentious engineer. But basically, pretentious is this idea that you think you're right, but you're actually wrong. Hubris is you're so assured of yourself that you're right, that you will move forward at great risk to yourself and likely a great failure, right? Confidence ascends to the sky. In success, you are correct in your assumptions. Against all odds, you prevail forward or higher. Hubris, you were wrong in your assumptions. You plummet to the earth. And in entrepreneurship, the big question, which we'll get to on mile 3, is how do you discern? How do you know if you're confident or if it's hubris or a little bit of pretentious? All right, let me pop you on my head. Let's keep rocking. We're slowing down a little bit. That's normal. That's okay. One of the fun things, which I'm fairly positive you can't see because the lighting's so low, I'm the only one with footprints out here, baby. Oh yeah. There's a weird ego trip that happens when it's fresh snow and you're the only person crazy enough to get out in it first. That said, I went to bed a little late, like 11:30, and my wife just started a new job, so I get to help with all the morning routine, which I normally do anyway. But there's this added sense of risk that if I don't wake up and get out and hit it, I lose my window because she'll be at work all day. I'll be watching the two little ends, little Akio, my 10-month-old, and Miko, my fireball with 3-year-old. Can't take them out on a run. So when I was making preparations to go out on this adventure, because I do that on Sunday nights, I try to set the conditions And what I mean by that, these runs are hard. Please do not mistake the distance I'm going while talking as ease. It is incredibly awful. I've just conditioned myself to do this. I got a really deep sense of why that enables me to show up. So on Sunday nights, I set the conditions. I lay out all my clothes, grab my GUI packet, my GoPro so I can chat with you. My arm's getting sore so the camera keeps dropping. I set all the conditions. I lay it all out. And one of the conditions I gave myself was I knew I needed about an hour and 40-minute window. Our kids haven't been sleeping well since transitioning from Japan to Chicago. A lot of them end up on couches down in the basement with us. And Akio still wakes up every 2 to 4 hours. And he's bottle feeding now. So I do all that. So my condition that I set, right as I went to bed, was okay. When Akio wakes up within the range of 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., we'll feed him, we'll get him down. The big kids will sleep till 6:30 before we start getting ready for school. So boom, that's my window. Go to the bathroom, get armored up for the cold, pop your shoes on, and go get it. Do something despite how you feel. Well, little Aki Bubs, which is what we call him now, was like, hey, how about 2:37 in the morning? I was like, fuck. I'm family friendly, so I can't swear. But on the inside, so throw him up on my shoulder, he's screaming, helping my 2 big kids stay passed out, make a bottle, and I'm talking to myself. I got this inverted hype track, this comfort track going in my head of like, all right, it's 2:37, it's a little bit too early, so we'll give him his bottle. That'll get us to like 2:45. We'll go back to bed, and then he'll probably wake up at like 4:30. So then we'll get up and out and we'll hit it. And meanwhile, as I'm telling myself all that, math starts awakening. The commitment I made starts spinning. And I'm like, shoot. If I put him down at 3, he's gonna wake up at 6:30. And I know I'm not waking up to my alarm clock with this interruption at 2:30. And I'm too alert. Maybe I'll just go to the bathroom and I'll think about what I'm gonna do. Maybe we'll bag it for the day. You poor podcast friends, you're like, where's the story about confidence? No, we gotta talk about life. It'll come back. Or it won't. That's the wonder of this medium. And the gaps give me time to think and reflect about where I want to take you next. But the reason I share all that, it's 3:40 in the morning on a Monday, 18 degrees Fahrenheit, an inch of snow, probably 20-30 mile an hour winds, and we're here. It's story time, and I haven't gotten that text of like, Joe, where the hell are you? So I think I timed it out right to be able to serve my family, serve you, come alongside you in your journey, and care for myself, both health and mindset. I do a lot of this for mindset. Creating these non-negotiables in my life, even if timing's not optimal. Sure, I can take a nap later, but I got up, found the best window I could to get out here for a long while and push myself, and I'm pleased, happy with that. So confidence. Gotta talk fast because we're already coming up on mile 4. Whew, let me switch hands. So there's this journey where I'm trying to find the path, right? And we want to be confident that we're on the path, that we know where we're going, that we know what we're building. And surely, just from a Murphy's Law, risk-adjusted perspective, something is wrong with our strategy, with our product, with us as people. Something's wrong. But we still have to like find the confidence to step forward and know and see if our foot landing on some nice snowy gravel, or are we getting cut up in the face by twigs and branches because we fell off the path. We followed hubris. And I think there's this progression. I read it in a devotional the other day, kind of expanded upon it. Where like you go through a series of questions and statements. Like the first part is confidence. I know where I'm going. It's that way. And you need that because in that statement, even though it's not 100% true, it's the activation energy. It breaks through the sitting and waiting for life to happen. I'm confident. I know where I'm going. But the second part is the doubt. The doubt of like, where am I? Like, you're starting to open up the question of like, as I've been building, as I've been connecting, as I've been selling, as I'm doing all the entrepreneur business building things, if you're an engineer, as I'm crafting a product, like, I miss that. Ooh, this is slippy. I miss that there's this doubt that starts to creep in of like, like, where am I? Like, is this product I'm making actually gonna help anybody? Is it really gonna make a difference? For a medical device, when we work on a product, it takes 3 to 6 years to commercialize, at least in Johnson & Johnson, when you're working on like minimally invasive surgical technologies, implantables. There's a whole host of challenges and process that prevent us from moving quote unquote fast, which is silly. But the third question statement is, it's a progression. I'm like, where am I? To like, I don't know where I am. Like, I don't recognize what's around me. I am unequipped to figure this out. Things are getting scary. Clients aren't closing the way I thought. I'm not set up to scale and deliver on the promises made. My burn rate's driving to 0 in a foreign country with 4 kids. It's personal. You know, surely there must be something wrong with what I set out to do. Doubt progresses into fear when we receive data and input that we're not on the path. When we can declare, this is not where I need to be right now to progress forward. And we'll get to the fourth statement on mile 4. Let's go.
Total distance 4 miles. Total time 47 minutes and 46 seconds. Split pace 12 minutes 15 seconds per mile.
Well, golly, that wasn't much of a break. I got really long-winded on that mile 3 conversation about why the heck we're running out here at 3:30 in the morning, or whatever time it is. It's probably almost 4. It's a nice golf course to look at. Cool houses, nice trail, electrical wires. It's a good time, I guess. Besides, my fingers freezing. So statement number 4 is that it connects entrepreneurship, and then at mile 5 and mile 6, I'll unpack it a little bit through my personal experiences, and then a section we'll call praxis, which is like, what do you do with these questions and statements? How do you navigate them or apply them to the season of life you're in? Whew, slippy, crossing the road, friends. Okay, so the fourth statement, right? And just the backtrack, just to run them again, even though for you it was a very short pause. It bears repeating. Number one, confident. I know where I'm going. Number two, doubt. Where am I? Like the beginning of questioning. A chink in the armor. A concern or growing anxiety. Was it confidence or hubris? Where are we in this whole thing, right? Two, fear. I don't know where I am. That you hit a problem you've never solved, a situation bigger than you thought you were capable of, something outside the control limits. You know, life is messy, business is hard, and you got to figure out how you pivot, right? How do we get back on the path? That's the question. Because you spend too much time out in the wilderness, you run out of supplies, you're isolated, and you die. Unless you're an Iceman like me. But in all seriousness, if I rolled an ankle and fell in a ditch right now, it'd be a bad day. Especially if for some reason I went unconscious. Wouldn't last very long. Now, if I could use my phone, we're good. Anyway, enough of those thoughts. Let's put that fear out of mind. Fourth statement. And third one's like, what if we're dead in the water? What if we never get out of these woods? Everybody panic. You feel that. We felt that in Japan. Like, we had a 100K client that we had put weeks of free work into to pitch, with every indication we would close. And then money got tied up. Tried to coerce like extra work out of us for free. Like, it fell through, and I was like, well, shoot, we don't have any bread. We don't have any provision. Bread is a cognate for cash. It's an idiom, I apologize for that. We had bread, we always ate. Like, there are choices you make as parents to get crap done. To float money in dangerous ways, but to feed your kids and keep a house, right? We didn't go that broke. We got broke enough that was really damn scary. So, number four, build up. Build up is so good, friends. Number four, the path. I know who I am. But we have to realize we get so fixated on where we need to go and whether or not we're in the woods or on the path that we can lose sight of the deeper identity of the internal drive and passion and know-how. Like, we have to reach this point where we tell ourselves, I have the ability to work the problem in front of me. Like this deeper sense that I know these woods. I might not have seen them this way, from this angle, but if I use my surroundings, if I use what's within, I can find a way to get back on a path forward. And when you have this deep-rooted sense of self, regardless of what your external circumstances look like, then you know you've been on the path all along. It just winds, it just wanders, and the terrain changes from time to time, and that's life. It's hard, it's uncertain. So the only certainty you can really find is within yourself and controlling what you can control to work towards a better outcome. Yeah, for some folks, like, ventures die. People do go legit bankrupt. Like, things get scary. But for others, They make a pivot. They find a deeper insight. They connect with a friend. They find allies. For me, I share my story. These stories have continued to help refine in me who I am and who I'm here to serve, to help engineers, global leaders, entrepreneurs find a way. Because I've worked across all three contexts, and I know how incredibly disorienting and isolated and just challenging it can be. The path is so unclear. So for me, anything I can do to unblock folks, whether it's through external things they can't see, just moving those boundaries, or helping them see a power and a capability within themselves that they lost because industry beats it out of us. Industry quelches the entrepreneurial global leadership spark. In many ways it makes us, it gives us a cynicism. Like anything I can do to give someone that sense of fire, that's when I know who I am. And if that means I have to reset my whole business model and build a free community before I can build a paid community, and pack all my crap and move to Chicago and live in the in-laws' basement. I love the in-laws. I'm so grateful for them. And fully restart at 32. Well, then I trust it. 35, 40, we'll be able to build the life we desire and do it with integrity, do it with a way we're proud of, do it with a new story to tell. So let me pop you in my head. I'll see you at mile 5. I think mile 5's next. Let's get it, friends. Where it's mile 1. I don't know where we are. I'm lost.
Total distance 5 miles. Total time 59 minutes and 45 seconds. Split pace 12 minutes 9 seconds per mile.
Hey, that's exciting. So we just did 5 miles. Whew, in the snow, in the cold, and we held a pace under 12-minute miles. So like 59, 50 something, I think. That's fantastic. See, some of you skinny people, 12 minutes might seem really slow for a mile, but for me to run safely with good form, good breathing, good focus, like 12-minute mile, 11:40, that's a sweet spot. Oh, my arms are tired though. I gotta do the under chin. I apologize. It's funny because at this point my eyes have night vision, but maybe there's a chance you can still see the outline of me and light refracting off of the snow. Okay, so whew, got a little soapboxy on that last mile. I'm feeling something. It's good. Shaking it off, yeah. Shake off them chains. Go kick some butt. Samson. All right. It's a inside Jesus joke. I come from a faith context, which it's funny. I mean, if we were to go tangential for a moment, because I try to make this space inclusive for anyone from any faith background, spirituality, or lack thereof. Like I got a master's in global leadership, but I did it at a Christian theological seminary, studied like Asian spirituality, Islam as well. So I've like worked across the layers, and faith is an incredible motivator. It could propel us forward. For instance, in Christianity, there's a lot of scripture that tries to hold on to this sense of like confidence. A lot of it's like confidence in salvation and in Jesus, but then like there's this confidence that we've been made or crafted for a purpose, that there are good works and tasks set before us to do, and that should push and propel us forward boldly versus, you know, passively falling into, I was going to say simple life, but there's a lot of scriptures that encourage us to live a simple life. Falling into pessimism and mundane. We'll use that language, right? You could roll burritos, put roofs on houses, work at a theme park like I did in high school, and still have a sense of purpose and diligence with which you work and how you care for the customers you serve. Even if it's quote unquote a crap job with bad pay and toxic people, like, you can still show up and thrive in a crummy situation. I don't know why this is a detour from confidence, but maybe it's just a reminder to me that as I wake up at 2:30 and run in the cold to chat with you, try to provide some kind of wisdom, guidance, and application to your life, that when I get back home and I'm sore and I'm sleepy, that I can still find that grit, that sense of purpose to edit this, schedule it, post it, engage my kids, get them out to school. I have another course to record for my community on Skool. Got some job apps I gotta put in for MedTech leadership positions in Japan, in US, in Chicago. There's a lot of I gotta work. Yeah, maybe I need a little bit more sense of there's some good works laid before me today. If I could show up with the right attitude to meet them, I can make it a good day. Even if it's a hard day, challenging day, we can show up and meet it and do well. All right, we'll get into praxis at the end of this mile, which will be mile 6. Let me pop you on my head, we're almost done. Actually, you know what? I see the end. Let's walk it and talk. We'll cool down. Deadlift. Ooh. Ooh, let's do another one. We got a sore booty. Hey, 5.5. Oh, we're at like 5.6. It's been a good run. Good progress made. Whew. Y'all are like, why do I listen to this podcast? This guy just grunts and wheezes and sweats and chats. I don't know. It's different. It's me. It's definitely 100% me. And it's been an evolution. I think I'm on day, I gotta double check, but I think I'm on day like 541 of my dad bod journey. So 541 days ago. Ooh, this is a good praxis. This is a good end. Like 541 days ago, I started something. I put a GoPro on my head and I started running. And I built with another fitness trainer a half marathon program that was accessible to folks who were heavier set, had pre-existing health conditions, prior sports injuries, and we had like 3 days a week of different lifts with 4 blocks that rotated every 4 weeks with different stuff. And then I built up the mileage until we hit 13.1 and ran a half marathon in Japan. And that was my 3rd half marathon in Japan. But the first 2 I had worked with physical therapy, personal trainers over a long series of time to learn how to run and change my form to be safe as a 306 pound guy, 6'3", with massive spinal injuries. Like, I used to be able to sleep an hour or a half at a time and wake up in terrible agony, roll out of bed, throw on my shoes, run half a mile, sit on a bench and wrestle with God why my life was so awful, and then run the other half home and try to figure it out for the day. I was getting epidural injections in my back every other month to fight, like, reduce inflammation, and I was on path towards spinal surgery. I kind of reached this point where if I didn't change something, it was going to get progressively worse with more and more interventions. So started approaching how I eat, started changing how I built core and back strength, started trying to regress symptoms, lost like 40 pounds. And I don't wake up in pain. It's very rare. Sometimes I have a little bit of hip issue, and then I can work into that. Sometimes my knees are issues. Like, I still got crunchy bones at 32, right? But like, I've run 3 half marathons since I started DadBod, 540 something days ago. But the reason I bring this up in the journey of, confidence, I know where I'm going, doubt, where am I, and fear, I don't know where I am, to the path, like I know who I am. I knew there was something really important about recording all 116 days of that program, and I did it with confidence, with a sense of faithfulness that this is going to serve somebody to capture what's my day zero. I had no idea I would keep going for 500 plus days. And the reason I've done it is because I live stream these runs. Now I record them as a podcast on Mondays. And I don't want people to come in and watch this and compare themselves to day 540 Joe. I want them to go back and watch day 0 of my first run, which is not a run. It's a 1 mile walk. Like I taught people how to walk a 5K for the first 4 weeks before we even try to run consistently. But I recorded that whole journey, 116 days. It took me another 100 plus days to actually edit it, put it all out on a Google Classroom, and had no idea how to do like a funnel to it on like content creation. So nobody's done that program ever besides me. As far as I know, I think I invited 3 people and they never went through it. That's what I know. But I learned so much about editing, about communicating, bringing people into my journey transparently to encourage them. But what's really cool is in our community on Skool, you have like gamification. Like the more you engage, like if you make thought-provoking posts and people like them, you move up a leaderboard, and it's kind of like exponential, like how much work you have to put in to get to the next level. If you get to level 6, which is a substantial amount of effort, in my free community, it unlocks the whole program. So like there will be people that come because they want to find their way as an engineer, a global leader, an entrepreneur, and they engage and love the community and are chatting and growing. These podcasts are hosted there, my newsletter's hosted there. Like there's a whole course on like how to say goodbye and find your own exit. And when they hit level 6, because they've been doing these runs with me on a podcast, like my secret hope is if you've now made it to this episode, which will probably launch in end of March, I'm recording it in January for your perspective, that you've made it to level 6. Like one of you's at level 6 and you're like, you know what? Yeah, today I'm gonna go run with day 0 Joe. And like people are gonna start to do it, and it's gonna give them like a fortitude of mindset, because they will literally know Joe at day 540 and walk and run and lift with Joe day 0 through day 116. And it was an exercise of confidence, even though the product failed when I tried to package it on a Google Classroom and point people to it through content creation. It wasn't monetizable because I gave it away for free. But like when I pivoted towards serving engineers, when I exited Johnson & Johnson, a year later, I was like, oh, this would be an incredible reward for people to be able to unlock this whole program. They're not paying for it with money. Like they do have to put time into it to reach level 6. But I think it will create this like culture of like they worked to get it, so they're gonna do it, and then it's gonna change their life. Because it's changed my life. Like running and lifting consistently have changed my life. And I kept learning since recording it. Like I know more. There's definitely like issues with my form on certain things. There's imperfections in it, but I was confident that the journey was worth recording and that it would help people. And I still haven't seen fruit from that besides in my own life, which I think is neat. Like when you put things on a different time horizon, you give yourself more space to actually like see that it was confidence leading to success and not hubris leading to failure. When you're on the wrong time horizon, where you expect, oh, I'm gonna go and run this 116 days, and then I'm gonna edit it in 10 days, which just was not true, and then I'm gonna have people immediately lining up to do it, which wasn't true, and their lives are gonna be changed, and then I'm gonna be able to do a premium fitness community later with like other stuff, you know, like do a full, dad bought the full marathon program and charged $100 for that or whatever. Like, when you increase the time horizon, maybe it was confidence the whole time. You just didn't know how long the trail was, how many twists and turns would be necessary, which were required. That's why, again, the path is revealed when you have this deep rooted sense of who you are, what you're here for, regardless of what faith, spirituality, or lack thereof context. Like, you have to have a knowing of yourself in order to show up and do big crazy things. Like, for as much as people love and hate, like, Elon Musk knows who he is. He's not necessarily like my hero. A lot of engineering nerds look up to him as like the optimal. For me, like, I want to be an entrepreneurial with a family fully intact. It's kind of a big thing for me. But for you, as you consider practice, you know, may you, first of all, if you're early in your journey, may you give in to a relationship with confidence. May you tell yourself, I know where I'm going, and just start going. Just start walking. Knowing that you don't exactly know where you're going, but just tell yourself you do, because it activates you. And if you've been going and you're hitting some bumps in the road, may you embrace a little bit of doubt. May you question where you are in the journey, because that questioning is going to illuminate an opportunity or a pivot, or it's going to affirm that actually, no, you're on the right path. Like, someone's going to come and be like, whoa, like, I got my first testimonial for my Skool community, and like, to see that what I did help someone was so galvanizing of like, no, the confidence is right, keep going, you know, like, you'll get that sometimes. So embrace the doubt and question deeper. And then if you're in the season of fear where you don't know where you are, don't panic. Work the problem. Like, face it, embrace it. It's vulnerable. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. Tell yourself the only path is through, and just start progressing. Even if the only path is through, you still might need to pause and assess and figure out how to move through it, right? But then the last piece, friends, I think this is for all of you. Just trust that you know who you are. And if you don't, trust that you'll figure it out. It's just going to unfold gradually, beautifully over time. It's the wonderful mystery of life. Like, once we know who we are, that's when it ends. I want to show you. You know, these are my footsteps. This is where we started. We stepped out, we took those steps. We were confident that, you know, 3:15 in the morning, we're gonna go for a run and have a really cool conversation with one person online, 10 persons, 100, 1,000, 10,000. I don't know how far this stuff will go. This video's not going out for 3 months, but you gotta build towards something today, knowing exactly who you are. All right, friends, keep changing the world. I'll see you on the next one, and you can sip on that.
Total distance 6 miles.
Oh.
Total time 1 hour 16 minutes and 42 seconds.
That's a good run.
Sprint pace 16 minutes 57 seconds per mile.
And that's a walk. All right, I'm gonna go be a dad. See y'all.